I'm Randy Soergel. I'm one of the senior family members here, one of the owners, and that's me.
I'm Linda Soergel-Voll, and I'm president along with Randy. And my role is multiple things. I do take the school field trips in the spring and the fall. I coordinate those.
I guess we're just kind of one of the leaders, just to kind of help everybody out whenever they need some stuff, and so many family members.
I kind of do a little bit of everything, but really the field trips and the office work are kind of mine exclusively.
I'm responsible more for the greenhouse garden center end of the business, and then a lot of the marketing stuff in the market. When I was younger, I did a lot of the market, sales and that kind of stuff. And I work a lot with the employees, just on a personal basis, not on the HR stuff, just kind of team building and that kind of stuff.
My name's Larry Voll. I am the farm manager here at Soergel's, and I kind of oversee all production for the fruits and vegetables. Pretty much been here my whole life. I started out riding the tractors with my grandfather as soon as you were old enough to ride along. And then I did go to college, so I wasn't here for through the school years. And then as soon as college was over, I came back to the farm and been ever since. Behind me here is our hydroponic greenhouse. We have lettuce, cucumbers. In another house we have tomatoes and cucumbers. In the other house we have some lettuce. So we kind of put this up maybe 10 years ago, try to get a jump on the season. So we're picking tomatoes here now. And we haven't even started picking into the field here for probably another week to 2 weeks. So it kind of gives us an early start on the season.
My name is Cameron Soergel. My role is primarily in the garden center and greenhouse and helping with production and retail sales and operations at the garden center and greenhouses.
The business started with, the family settled here around 1850. And really from my perspective, I was born in 1956. And so my dad and my grandfather, my great-grandmother had 8 children. And they all went in different directions. And in 1960, my dad and my grandfather took over the farming part of the business. The other ones went into landscaping and everything. And that was in 1960, and a month after they did that happened in January of 1960, my grandfather passed away. And so it became my dad and my mom's sole business as far as the farm market. And then that's when we took the family part of the business and started the orchard and everything like that. At that time, they took and did a lot of truck farming into Pittsburgh. And they took and would take stuff in there, and they decided when I was like 12 years old, they decided to sit us down and ask us, did we want to go into the retail business or were we going to go different directions? And we kind of said, yeah, we're going to do the retail. No, making a decision at 12 years old that my parents were going to invest was kind of scary, and here we are today, So then they started in the retail, and from that point on, then we started into different sectors of the cider press and just a bunch of different farmings and that kind of stuff.
Well, the intersection up here with 910 did not look like it does now. And we had a little, probably 8-foot by 4-foot little stand, and that was my responsibility. And we would sell strawberries and the fruits, the apples mainly, from that little stand. Then with the younger generation and their ideas, we've just keep expanding, and we will get suggestions even from our customers and guests and said, why don't you try this or why don't you do that? And some of it's, yeah, let's try it and see what happens. And fortunately, most of the things we've tried have been very successful because we try to do it family-oriented, people-oriented, and include ourselves with getting to know our customers and getting them to know us and how we practice and how we farm. I remember we used to go into the north side to the farmer's market, and the truck beside us happened to be another local farm. It's where I met my husband, and they finished farming when he was about 13, and he started to come here and work on the farm here. And I didn't like him at first, but then as we got older and into high school, we started dating, and we've been married 52 years. And so I met my husband through farming, and he's a farmer. He does most of the cider pressing here for us, so he's worked here all his life. He married the farmer's daughter, and we couldn't get rid of him. He had to stay. So.
My name is Larry Voll. I'm pretty much just in charge of making the apple cider anymore. Other than days I'm not making cider or bottling it, I do some things outside. This is our cider press where we bring all of our apples off of our grater line that are seconds, they're not prime apples. And we bring them up here and we store them in our core. And then when we're ready to press, we bring them out. We run them through the over our washer and grater, pick out anything that might be bad in it. Goes up an elevator, gets ground up into like an applesauce. And from there we pump it through onto our cider press, which consists of 20 bags that are kind of a coarse mesh that the juice strains through it, and then it squeezes it like an accordion. Then the juice comes down into a tank, and then we pump it into our portable tanks, or in our busy season we pump it right into 1,000-gallon refrigerated tanks to hold it there until we're ready to process it, either through ultraviolet treatment or ship it out for people that are buying our cider. I'm doing what I always wanted to do. I had a sister-in-law ask me when I was going to retire, and I said, why? I'm almost 73 years old. I've been doing it since I was a kid on our family's farm before I started working here, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. And I'm working with 3 of my kids and my nieces and nephews, and couldn't have it any better.
The house right here, even this kitchen where we're sitting, was really probably the key, where everybody sat around and we talked about everything and came up with ideas and laughed. There's a lot of laughter. And the other thing too is, in my entire knowing my parents, I never remember once them raising their voices to each other or there being arguments that went back and forth. Everything was always discussed. And I think that's really something that I really take back as to, and my grandfather was that way too. I never heard anger, there might have been anger, but it was never expressed. My wife always uses the phrase, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can never put it back. And that's really kind of, I think, was the philosophy that once something comes out of your mouth, you then have to do, if you don't mean it, you better make sure that you don't say it. And I think that's really where some of the success is doing that. So this kitchen was where a lot of that was, and growing up, from breakfast on, and we got off the school bus. We weren't doing a bunch of activities. We got off the school bus and we worked, and so that was part of how it worked also. But the original house here is probably where a lot of the communication happened. This house burnt down in 1911. And then the family lived in the upper floor of the gift barn. And in the gift barn, you'll see there's an old lathe up there. There's an old drill press. There's the old thing that we used to go ahead and pack apples with and everything. And the story is that they took the doors off the upper floor and threw them out the windows because they were the most expensive things to buy. And so they would throw them out the window. So the doors on the upper floor are supposed to be the original doors. Whether they are or not, I'm not sure. But that's part of the history of this particular house.
It was just a safe place, and everybody would come in at lunchtime and sit around this little table, or sit along the outside, or sit on the porch or someplace, and Mom would have stuff set out and sandwiches, and we would discuss the day or what they were going to do for the afternoon, or what was coming up, or it was kind of just like a general meeting for everybody at lunchtime. And it just felt good. It just felt comfortable and welcoming. We even had employees come in, to eat with us or whatever, who happened to be wandering around, and it's just a good place.
The kitchen right here, my wife always says how my mom served all the family dinners and stuff with a little kitchen 3 feet wide. Is always something that she's just kind of really been kind of impressed with. But then there's the gift barn, and then where the animals are, and naturally Soergels are some of the 3 first major sheds that we had. And they used them for hay wagons and for where we packed apples back in the 60s and just storage. And then the Macintosh Hall was built like in 1970 to kind of be able to do more of the packing and all that kind of stuff, and the transporting of the produce as we were growing more to do a small retail market. We had it across the road on Brand School Road, some small buildings, and then in 1974, I think we built the current market to be on this side of the road, and every once in a while we'd expand it and go from there.
My mother decided she wanted to see her old school yearbooks, and so we went on a hunt looking for the school yearbooks, and we found in one of her drawers the deeds, the original deeds for this property. And also we found passports from the original Soergels that came from Germany, and they're all in German, and they're fascinating. Can't read them, but they're fascinating, and so we have those to, I think we're going to display them here in the future, but we want to protect them because they are kind of crumbly, but it was fun to discover, and it makes you think about what they went through to even get to this part of Pennsylvania. And we have pictures from some of the originals too. And everybody's very stark, you know, they don't smile on those pictures, but they're fun to look at.
Yeah, and that middle shed right now is, that's where they do the kindergarten tours. You know, we do, you know, in the fall, especially my sister Linda, you'll be talking to her, she'll be talking about the kindergarten tours that she does. She's responsible for them and how many kids that they have, but they have that set up and, you know, down here in this shed, and it's got the old wooden floors and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
We have two sessions. We have a spring session that begins usually around the middle of April, right after Easter, until the end of May or early June when school gets out. The fall one is the middle of September to the end of October. That one is all about apples, and we do a little lecture about apples. We take them into the washer and the grater and let them see how we get them ready for market. Take them into the cider press and show them how that works and how we make the cider. I like the interaction with our guests or customers. They give us such a boost. They support us. They let us know that what we're doing is a good thing, and it just makes me proud to be part of the Soergel family. Our name is known, and people will say, "Oh, I brought my son there when he was 2, and now he's bringing his 2-year-old son." You know, so it's generational for our customers as well. And that makes me feel really good that we have done something that is well received and well liked, and we really appreciate that. Well, the customers have their traditions with us too. So they have the tradition of they come and pick strawberries every year. And this year we had a problem with the drought, and so, oh no, we're going to miss our family tradition, you know. And there's obviously the fall festivals. People come just for that fall festival because they always have. So it's something that they continue to do, and it gets busy and crowded, but they still come. So it's something that makes them feel good, and we feel good because they do.
Yeah, so working with a family, I mean, everybody's invested. Everybody wants the best for the business and best for themselves, and everybody's kind of looking to help each other out. So it's kind of fun and nice to see, like, if somebody has a problem or a situation, everybody kind of jumps in, we solve the problem, and move on to the next problem that's inevitably coming. So it's kind of nice that everybody's kind of have the same outlook and same goals. One of my fond memories, I guess going back to where I said before, starting out like riding in the tractors. I can remember riding with my grandfather for 8 hours a day. He'd just sit there and not doing anything but riding along, but those memories are good. I mean, I remember those vividly.
Our house borders the one property that is connected to the retail market here. And I think we had a golf cart growing up. And so me and my siblings driving around the farm, just playing around in the orchard. And I remember that we used to have cherry trees up on top of the hill and picking the cherries and even just feeling the juice like run down your hand. And just all these memories of being up in the fields with them ripping around in the golf cart. That's honestly like one of my most fond memories. And yeah.
The best memories are just the family being together and doing things together. We would even go on vacation. We have a hunting camp in Potter County, and there's no phone service. Now there is, but there wasn't at that point. And we would just all go like right around Father's Day and just get away from everything just for a week, and before we came back into the heavy harvest time. And that was a great memory. But as we grew up and the memories continue, I mean, every day's a memory, but some days are better than others. But I think just knowing when I get up in the morning, I'm going to see my son, my daughter, and my other son, and my son-in-law, and my grandchildren, and Randy's family. It just gives you a warm feeling that this is a good place to be.